You mean you don't know? All this time and you still haven't figured it out. I wonder how long you would have stayed blind to the truth. I am actually surprised this confrontation did not happen sooner, given how powerful your mind once was. Surely some of what you once were must have surfaced by now. Even the combined power of the Jedi Council couldn't keep your true identity buried forever. You cannot hide from what you once were, Revan. Recognize that you were once the Dark Lord, and know that I have taken your place.
The story of Darth Malak is quite the tragic tale. This epic journey is in direct connection with Revan and the Sith Emperor. Malak is a human male with the birth name of Alek. He was born on an Outer Rim world named Quelli, where he was raised within a native village. A few years before the Mandalorian Wars hit the core worlds, the Mandos had first laid siege to many worlds in the Outer Rim, including the one where Alek lived. Because of the ensuing chaos, Alek was forced to flee his homeworld and find refuge within the Republic's safety net. It didn't take too long after that for the Jedi to sense that Alek was Force sensitive. Given the fact that he needed a new home, and he had potential with the Force, the Jedi Order decided to take him in and train him. This was still before the Mandalorian Wars had reached the core worlds. For now, everyone was safe. Alek spent most of his time being trained on Coruscant, along with his fellow Padawans. Among them, he met a human male named Revan. Quickly, they both became friends and were almost always seen together. Alek had surely felt so alone during his time of training. He was so far from home and didn't really know anyone, but meeting Revan had given him a reason to keep moving forward. As we all know, Revan himself inspired loyalty in those around him. He was a natural-born leader. Alek was probably drawn to this and wanted to cling to it, as it was something he did not have himself. He was inspired by Revan. All of this helped them both form a strong bond as not only friends, but partners. During this era, it was not uncommon for Padawans to be taught or seek out knowledge from multiple Jedi Masters. Alek followed where Revan led, so Alek was also trained to some extent by all those who trained Revan. Despite what might appear as rivalry to others, was in fact an equal brotherly bond. However, eventually the Mandalorian Wars moved closer and closer to the core worlds. The Republic was now forced to get involved, yet the Jedi Council refused to aid them. Because of this, a faction of Jedi led by Revan and Alek had decided to disobey the Jedi Council and instead help the Republic in its time of need. When the Council discovered these actions, an arrest warrant was issued for the rogue Jedi. This is likely why Revan started wearing a mask and why Alek changed his name to Malak. To avoid obvious detection from authorities, I also wonder if Malak tattoos his head at this point too as another identity blur, but it's quite possible he had them from a child as per some tradition on his homeworld. Revan and Malak had successfully created a faction of Jedi that wanted to help the Republic win the war. It was even Malak who recruited Mitra Surik, later known as the Exile, to the cause. As we know from here, Revan, Malak, and Mitra were able to help the Republic claim victory against the Mandalorians, but this came at a great cost. Mitra had activated the Mass Shadow Generator, a super weapon that would surely guarantee exile for anyone involved. Malak knew what he was getting into, but he followed Revan. He trusted him. Together, Revan and Malak had discovered a sinister plot, but clues still needed to be revealed. When Revan defeated Mandalore in 1 vs 1 combat, Mandalore had confessed that the Sith provoked the war. Rather than returning to Coruscant and the Jedi Council after winning the war, Malak and Revan went in search of more clues to the mysterious Sith threat. The reason they took this so seriously is because the Sith were meant to be extinct at this point in time. To think one existed somewhere was a dangerous line of thought, one that had to be discerned. Malak and Revan were led to the planet Rekiad, where they discovered an ancient Sith tomb which housed a Sith Lord's remains. What they found inside this tomb led them to the world of Nathema. When the two Jedi Knights stood on the surface of this planet, They knew they had to take this threat more seriously than anything before. Someone had completely devoured the presence of the Force here. After investigating the planet further, they discovered more clues, which led them to another world, Drummond Kars, a storm-covered planet hidden deep within the Outer Rim. The dark side was powerful here. Very powerful. Revan and Malak had discovered the hidden Sith Empire. They were both in complete shock, but they needed to take action. Returning to the Council would be futile. They would simply be exiled and no one would listen. They had to do this on their own. Over time, they were both able to pose as mercenaries. Using this cover, they obtained as much information on the Sith Empire as they could. What they found out was unsettling. The Empire had been in hiding for over 1,000 years, led by an emperor who was just as old. Allegedly, there is a whole skew of politics, including even a Dark Council and several spheres of influence. They also found out it was the Sith Emperor that devoured the previous world they searched. Knowing that Mandalore confessed to Sith influence, Revan and Malak knew it would be best to confront and defeat the Sith Emperor without anyone knowing they had even been there. Hopefully, that would be enough to stop any kind of attack. Using their skills and persuasion, they were able to gain a contact from within the Emperor's citadel. A citadel guard so happened to be on Revan and Malak's side. This guard knew the Emperor was an evil person and needed to be dealt with. However, they were betrayed by the guard, who was in fact under the Emperor's control the entire time. Malak and Revan thought they were sneaking up on the Emperor, but he had actually outplayed them. While they were within his presence, their minds became corrupted. Knowing only the dogmatic teachings of the Jedi meant that they had no defense against this. The Emperor subdued their minds with ease and bent them to his will. The Emperor had his own plan for these two new Dark Lords. He told his own Dark Council that he killed Malak and Revan. What he actually did was far worse. He forced Revan and Malak to return to the Republic as his Dark Lords, as his vanguard of invasion. Revan and Malak were instructed to find the Starforge and use it to crush the Republic's defenses. But there was a fatal flaw in the Emperor's plan. He had severely underestimated Malak and Revan. When they returned, their minds were once again sent into haywire. The new dark-side presence had tainted their thoughts. Somehow, they were able to twist and contort the Emperor's instructions until they truly believed it was their own idea. Somehow, their minds removed all memory of the Emperor and the Sith Empire they discovered. I have reason to believe that the Emperor actually did this intentionally. He wired Revan and Malak to turn on the Republic. Whether or not they did this under his banner didn't really matter, but that would contradict the Emperor wanting them to return word of their success. Anyways, moving forward, Revan and Malak were still corrupted to the dark side. However, they were under no direct influence from the Emperor anymore. With them falling to the dark side, they did of course take the Darth title. Malak was now Darth Malak. However, Darth Malak and Darth Revan's relationship completely changed. They were once close friends and partners. Now, they were both fallen Jedi claiming to be Dark Lords. The dynamic of the relationship needed to change with them. Revan believed he was the more powerful Sith, so he proclaimed himself the new Dark Lord. Malak had likely disagreed in some way. This will be how Malak lost his jaw in a fight between Revan to decide who is a master and who is an apprentice. According to Revan's code, there cannot be two Dark Lords. The power should be embodied within a single leader. This means Revan chose to no longer see Malak as his equal. He was less than. Accepting this truth was hard for Malak. It would forever cast a shadow over him, that he was not good enough to be the Dark Lord. In my own opinion, Malak's fall to the dark side is cemented when he realizes he lost his friend Revan. He would no longer be seen in the same way again. He would be expected to kneel, say, "Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord. What is thy bidding, my lord?" The thought probably made him sick to the stomach. This would eat at him, along with his injury being a constant reminder of being weak. He would decide to bide his time for his revenge. While Revan would dance around the Republic and seek out new knowledge, Malak would spearhead the domination of the galaxy, being relentless with his assaults. Eventually, as we know from the KOTOR game, a Jedi strike team was able to infiltrate Revan's flagship and confront him on the bridge. In this moment, Malak saw his opportunity to fire on his master and take his place. A cowardly and cheap way to defeat Revan, perhaps, but effective nonetheless. And since when was the dark side about being chivalrous? Malak had turned on Revan and fired on his ship.
You cannot win, Revan.
Assuming he had killed Revan, Malak takes his place as the Dark Lord and continues his domination of the entire galaxy. Malak moved forward unfazed at the loss of his former friend, further proving that he has grown to hate Revan, despise him. Revan was everything that Malak was not, or perhaps that was just what he told himself. Malak knew that the only real threat to him now was the Jedi prodigy Bastila Shan, who was the most powerful Force user of battle meditation in the galaxy. Malak spent his time and resources pursuing this Jedi across the galaxy, resulting in the bombardment of Taris, which was meant to draw her out of hiding.
Resume the bombardment, Commander. Wipe this pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy.
And then later, Malak sends Calo Nord, the bounty hunter. However, that was also when Darth Malak discovered something incredible. Calo Nord had told Darth Malak that Revan was with Bastila Shan. Malak could not believe what he was hearing. It didn't make sense. How could he be alive? Then it all started to come together. Malak had discerned that the Jedi Council had wiped Revan's mind, and were once again trying to teach him to be a Jedi. Malak found the entire thing to be a comedic charade, so much so that he allowed it to continue while he pursued Bastila. Not much later, Malak and Revan met once again, and the revelation comes full circle.
The Jedi do not believe in killing their prisoners. No one deserves execution, no matter what their crimes.
The Council would not normally accept an adult for training, but this is a special case.
They say the Force can do terrible things to a mind. It can wipe away your memories and destroy your very identity.
Tatooine. Kashyyyk. Manaan. Korriban. Revan visited each of these worlds searching for clues to reveal the hidden location of the Starforge.
The lure of the dark side is difficult to resist. I fear this quest to find the Starforge could lead you down an all too familiar path.
What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them?
Malak tells Revan what happened to him, but it's hard for him to accept, and he remained with the light side. Bastila Shan intervenes with this confrontation, while Revan and his friends escape. Malak was able to finally capture Bastila Shan, and he successfully turned her to the dark side.
You are strong, child, but I will break you.
I'll never fall to the dark side. You think torture will turn me, Malak? You're a fool.
Torture? No, dear Bastila. You misunderstand. This is but a taste of the dark side to whet your appetite. When you finally swear loyalty to me, it will be willingly.
Never.
Such resolve in your words, but I see the truth in your heart. The dark side calls to you, Bastila. You hunger to taste it. Become my apprentice, and all its power can be yours.
She would be brought back to the light later on by Revan, of course. With the help of the Republic Armada, Revan was able to confront Malak for the final time on board the Starforge space station. In this final fight, Malak is very powerful. He was able to drain the life of those around him and even had great mastery over Force Lightning and Stasis. However, the Jedi hero Revan had overcome Malak's strength. Darth Malak refused to turn back to the light. He continued the fight until his last breath, and only in his final moments did he see clearly for the first time. The reason I believe this is a tragic tale is because we start out with two very good friends, who were then later forced into a hateful relationship, with such horrible terms that no friendship could ever survive. The dark side inspires rivalry and strife. After all, Malak and Revan faced death together. They travelled the entire galaxy and even confronted the Sith Emperor. All of this was lost, but never forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel as more is always coming. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.
I suppose you speak the truth. I alone must accept responsibility for my fate. I wanted to be master of the Sith and ruler of the galaxy, but that destiny was not mine, Revan. It might have been yours, perhaps, but never mine. And in the end, as the darkness takes me,